Nancy Pelosi resisted for many, many months mounting impeachment, an impeachment proceeding in the House. And there are many different grounds that he could have been impeached for: violation of the Emoluments Clause, corruption, and war crimes, as you said, most recently killing Soleimani in violation of the UN Charter, in violation of the War Powers Resolution. But when the whistleblower complaint came out and it became so clear what Trump had done with strong-arming Zelensky to mount, not to mount investigations necessarily, but to announce that he was mounting investigations into Trump's political rival, Joe Biden, and this discredited theory that Ukraine had meddled in the 2016 election, Nancy Pelosi understood that this was an airtight case. It was narrow. It was clear. People could get their brains around it. And so we had these two articles of impeachment: abuse of power and quid pro quo, this for that, dirt for dollars, I think is one of the phrases that we hear, that Trump really believed that because we've been so good to Ukraine, Ukraine owes us. He really does not understand how foreign policy works. It's all about making the business deal, making himself look good. So this dirt for dollars, in other words, if Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, announced an investigation against the Bidens, that would tarnish Biden, who was leading him in the polls at that time, and help Trump's reelection. Patently illegal, a patent abuse of power. And then the second article of impeachment is obstruction of Congress. And in an unprecedented move, no president ever before has done this, a president facing impeachment, even judges facing impeachment, haven't totally stonewalled the House of Representatives, not producing one document in response to subpoenas, forbidding all officials of the executive branch from testifying. And this is a direct violation of the Constitution's command that the House of Representatives shall have the sole power of impeachment. That means it's not up to the president to decide whether he's going to cooperate with it. People will be very defensive of Biden and say, you know, he's being unfairly attacked, he's been cleared, he didn't do anything wrong. And on the other hand, some people will think, well, where there's smoke, there's fire, and this doesn't look good. Joe Biden was vice president at the same time that Hunter Biden was on the board of Burisma, this very, very lucrative position. But Biden was vice president at the time, and he, consistent with the Obama administration's policy, he was pressuring Ukraine to get rid of a corrupt prosecutor because the U.S. policy was to oppose corruption in Ukraine. And so really, in that context, Biden did not do anything wrong. However, that doesn't mean that the fact that he is in this position, was in this position, and his son was on the board of Burisma, is going to raise some questions. Where there's smoke, there's fire. There will be people who will not support Biden for that reason. On the other hand, he may well benefit from being on the defensive by Donald Trump. Now, if there are witnesses allowed at all, and I highly doubt it, I can't imagine that the Republicans would not push to subpoena one or both of the Bidens. And then it's going to become a mini trial, a trial within a trial, where it's going to focus on what Biden did or didn't do. Did he do something improper? Was Trump justified in asking Zelensky to mount an investigation of Joe Biden? And so I think this is going to be very interesting, and certainly the Republicans, Trump's defense, are going to go deeply into the appearance of impropriety with Biden and his son. It remains to be seen whether one or both of the Bidens will actually be called to testify, and whether any witnesses, for that matter, will be called to testify.